Buyers are freaking out, buyers are backing out, and buyers are figuring it out.
Welcome to the Real Impact Show. My name is Don Jacks, and I am here with my co-host.
I'm Aaron Zapata. Thanks for joining us today.
And let's jump right into it. Aaron, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about the most recent changes in the real estate market with buyer-broker agreements. And we're now just a week in, but we've been working on it for 3 or 4 weeks already. And we wanted to bring you up to speed on real-life examples of what we are dealing with. Because both Don Jacks and myself, we sell real estate, and we wanted to just bring you some real-life examples. So hang in here, listen, send us your comments. We'd love to hear your feedback on what you're going through as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we're both here in Southern California, guys, so we're going to talk about this from a Southern California agent point of view. And as Aaron is in the trenches daily, I am too, and I am coaching a lot of agents across the country right now. Man, it's a mess here, Aaron. It's a mess nationally. And what I mean by a mess, buyers and agents are freaking out, backing out, and many of us are figuring it out. And it's not that big of a freak out for some of us. But man, there are stories across the country of buyers, sellers, and agents just losing it.
Yeah, we belong to a national organization, so we get to see examples all over the place. And Sharon Srivatsa, our president, he posts different things. And I'm always surprised, but I shouldn't be. I guess I shouldn't be, because agents don't like change. None of us do, no matter what industry you're in. And agents are freaking out right now. Buyers are freaking out in some regards, but agents as well. And what was that post that we saw, Don, that said that, the world's over. No one signed into my open house, so I had to turn them all away. And I'm like,
turn them all away. I'm not going to be able to sell another house ever again.
And maybe that's you. Maybe you tuned in and you're listening and you're like, what in the world am I supposed to do? So hopefully we're going to have some answers for you today as we just kind of dive in to our situations.
Either answers on how to help you figure it out, or answers to help figure out that, yep, it's time to leave the real estate industry. Yeah. One of those things. And I say that in jest, kind of, right? Kind of. If you're looking at this in the world is over framework versus the time to pivot, how do I learn this? How do I adapt? How do I serve my clients best? Then it's absolutely time to either have a paradigm shift about it and join us, or learn some new scripts in a different industry. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can go on any job board, and guess what? There are a lot of jobs out there. So
a lot of opportunities.
And if you're in California and you want to work at a fast food restaurant that's a franchise, you can get paid $20 an hour for flipping burgers. So beside the point, we do not want to work for minimum wage. We want you to earn a great living. And one of the big misnomers, the myths out there, is that buyer's agent commissions are going away. So Don, let's talk about the situation that you had on a recent offer situation where you represented a buyer and you were asking for a commission. Walk us through that process.
Yeah, well, it was a week ago, and it was the first of a day of 7 homes to be seen. We went in, we saw it, buyers liked it very much. We went to see the other 6, and of course didn't need to see the other 6 except for a comparison to realize this was the one. It was priced low for the area. Notorious strategist, the listing agent is on doing this on a regular basis. Fine, we ran our comps, figured we'd be up against a few offers, increased our offer, and realized that we were up against 34 different offers, Aaron, in this market. And
34 offers in this market?
34 offers. And it was either the day before the commissions came out of our MLS, I believe it was. So I saw the 2% being offered in the MLS, right? It wasn't 2.5%. And I had a 2.5% buyer broker agreement signed with my buyers. And because of the situation, I decided to write in the new way we make our offers and requests of compensation at 2% to help the buyers out and get competitive with the situation. We got a counter back. We went back and forth a couple times and ended up winning out of 34 offers. Um, but there was a little concession in the commission for me. It was a decision. The buyers and I had talked about it, Don. We're going to ask you to negotiate everything on the seller side to have them cover. We're not going to pay any of the commission. We agreed to that, fine. And so I took a 2 instead of 2.5% commission on that.
But therein lies the point, right? For you, you took a concession. Your offer got accepted. You're in escrow right now. You're going to close it. You're going to get paid, and your commission is not going away. It's going to be paid by the seller.
My commission's not going to be gone. It's still paid. It might be a little reduced, right, in some situations. And in some situations, I'll feel apt to say, Mr. Buyer, they're covering 2 of the 2.5. The other 0.5% is going to be your responsibility. This was not that situation. I think we talked about it's going to be a situation by situation, client by client, negotiation by negotiation. And quite frankly, that's what the DOJ and the whole reason for this move, that's what they wanted. And that's going to happen. It's already happening. So we can fight against it. We can be upset against it, or we can go serve our clients, help them get what they want and make a good living at the same time. And
Right.
continue
Well,
to
and
grow our
same thing
practice.
happened on one of our listings, Don. We had a listing and the offer came in.
Oh, yeah.
No compensation in the MLS being offered. And so the buyer wrote into the purchase contract that we would pay her 2.5%. And the seller countered with price and with compensation. And so lowered the commission to 2% on the offering of concessions there. And the buyers and the buyer's agent accepted the response. And so we're just not used to, in the real estate industry, talking about the buyer side commission. And so that's just something that we're all going to be comfortable with. And you know, what's interesting, Don, you and I have been talking about this whole idea probably for a year, long before the lawsuit was settled, about adding value to your presentation, like justifying what you do as a buyer's agent.
That's
You
right.
know, what do you do? I mean,
Yes.
I could go get a job for a competitor that's a national firm. They use a specific color in their name. And I saw on their job board at one point that I could just be a showing agent. And I could drive around and open doors all day long. And I would get paid $50 to $75 a door
That's right.
just to open the door. And then that buyer would call corporate, and that agent at corporate would write the offer for them. And I, as an agent, if I were that showing agent, would just be able to do that job. Why do I bring that up? Because if that's all you thought that your value was, then maybe you should just charge per door that you're showing that day.
That's right.
Right? And that's your agreement. I don't think that's the way this industry is going to go, nor do I think that if you're a professional agent trying to make a living in this industry as a career, that that's the best option for you. You want to make sure you know how to justify your value.
Yeah.
So buyers agents, listen in. Buyers are not going away. You may, but then who's going to fill in the gap? An agent who is skilled at understanding what's going on in this market. So are buyers freaking out? Don, what do you know about buyers freaking out right now?
Well, some buyers are not ready to buy a house. Some buyers are looking for a house. Some buyers that aren't ready to buy a house don't feel like they want to sign a listing agreement. And that's what I'm hearing about the freak out part more than anything, which causes our agents to freak out, right? When the buyers aren't doing what they're asking. More than anything, the sellers, I'm hearing stories of the sellers on the freak out. I'm not paying any buyer commission now. I don't have to. And I'm working with all of our clients, Aaron, like we do here at Impact, and explaining the conversation to the seller about the importance of the buyer's agents and everything, the 91 things that buyer's agents do bring to the table, what we bring to the table when we represent buyers. These are all the things we do, from setting up and being on and negotiating the inspections to the pricing and the negotiation to the litany of things. And if you want a list of things, DM us, we'll share a list of things. If not, you know what you do as a buyer's agent. Write it all down, brainstorm with your buddies, get it up on the whiteboard, make a one-sheeter of the value that you bring, the things that you do for your clients. We've got to be able to convey that. And not being able to convey that, not being able to communicate, creates the freak out, both with the buyer, the seller, and us as agents, Aaron. So I think the non-freak out mode, and now that I'm saying it out loud, the agents that are taking this in stride, at least on the surface, right, where we can see it, are communicating clearly with their clients and their prospects and their leads about what the situation is. They're not making it more than it is. They're not making it less than it is. They are taking it for face value. Here is what's important to you, and this is the path to figure it out. And I'm proud to say that most of the pushback is happening outside of our client base, not within the client base. Most of our clients are handling it very, very well.
I 100% agree. Most buyers that are in the process of buying now have some degree of understanding of what's happening. And buyers are looking for agents that can confidently yet simply explain the process.
That's right.
And the picture came to my mind when you were talking, Don, of little babies when they're learning how to walk, or a toddler. If a toddler falls down, the toddler looks up to the parent to figure out, how am I supposed to react?
That's right.
Right? They hit a wall and they look up like, Dad, am I okay? Mom, am I okay? Or should I freak out? And if mom or dad freak out, the kid starts to go crazy, right? But if the mom and dad like, hey, you're okay, it's good, get up. Kid's like, oh, okay, that's how I'm supposed to respond. It's good, I'm moving on. And I think, that situation emotionally still is very real because we're in that kind of clash of change right now. And so our clients are looking to us on how do we respond. Should they freak out? Should they write aggressive offers? Should they give up? Or should they, hey, this is the way it is. We're going to move on. We're going to get up. We're going to shake it off. We're going to move on. We're just going to make offers, and we're going to see where the things, right. They're looking to us.
They are, and there's so much noise with the media's coverage of it, and the nonsense that some people are putting out there. Some information is great. There's a lot of nonsense being put out there when let's be very clear together here, and let's go on and say there's really only three things that are happening. We've taken the commission out of the MLS, right? We cannot show or offer commission or any sort of compensation in the MLS. We must sign a buyer broker agreement with our buyers and us that we're representing, and have the commission conversation, the compensation conversation. And three, the decoupling of commission, where the seller is now responsible for their agent's fees and the buyer is now responsible for their agent's fees. There is a way for the buyer to request the seller to cover those. That's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. That's really, through the noise, that's the gist of it. And we, as the professionals, need to figure out in our language how to convey that to our buyers and sellers in under 2 minutes in many cases, right? Be able to explain it at that level, so they understand it and understand what it means to them. We have always, and you and I have said this, we go back almost 30 years with this, Aaron, we get taken care of and paid wonderfully in this business, and when everybody else is taken care of. The 2.5, the 3, yep, all of it's going to happen. There may be less than that at some point, boys and girls. That might be how this goes. And the more we add value, the more we communicate, and the more we can prove our value by actually pulling it off, doing the work for our clients, we'll be taken care of just fine through this. Just fine through this. So I don't mean to blow unicorns and rainbows and make it all perfectly fairyland, Aaron. It's not. There's some adjusting we all need to do, but we all do need to settle down and take it in stride too, because there is a great opportunity, as we were talking about offline, for the right agents in this market, in this environment, to completely dominate, completely set themselves apart from everybody else if they'll lean into this, stop fighting this, and using this as a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now,
Well,
there is what, I'm sorry, there's one more point here. You said freaking out. We talked about, uh, um, backing out, but there are some buyers and obviously some agents that are figuring it out. And I want to share a quick story from a client of mine. Had two buyer calls one day on one specific listing he had, Aaron, and he was asked, "Can you show us this listing?" Sure. Are you working with a buyer, an agent? And both buyers said yes, but we don't want to sign their buyer broker agreement. We know you're the listing agent. We would like to see the home. Now, this particular client is very stand-up guy, lives in a small town, and said, sure, no problem. I just need to give your agent a call, make sure they're cool with it, and I'd be happy to show you. That was a great stand-up answer to that. One of the buyers said no thanks and went away. The other one just said, no, that's okay. Are you holding an open house this weekend? Yes. Great. We'll just come by and see it. Some of the buyers, a small subset of the buyers, are figuring this out and are understanding there are ways to see the property. Like if you're the listing agent holding an open house, in most cases, from my understanding, I am not an attorney, but from my
and we're not your
understanding,
broker.
right? I'm not your broker. We are not your attorney or your broker. Please run it by your managing broker. Our understanding is if I have the listing, I can show you and I'm representing the seller, so the buyer doesn't have to sign anything. If I'm at the open house and I'm representing the seller, it's my listing, and the buyer comes in, I don't have to have them sign anything because I'm representing the seller, not the buyer. There's no reason to freak out.
No.
You just need to understand the laws and the rules according to your brokerage, according to your local board and your local state association. You have to understand the rules and pay attention. The buyers they're figuring it out. I thought that was so interesting, Aaron. I wasn't ready for that. But when I heard that, yes, people are figuring out and we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Nobody's coming for your paychecks.
That's right.
They're asking you to do it a little differently for reasons you may or may not agree with. And guess what? That does not matter. These are the new rules and the buyers are at some level paying attention. Are you educating yourself to educate the sellers and buyers out there so we can serve them at the highest level, regardless of the rules?
And listen carefully right now. If you're an agent and you have put a pause on your ambition to succeed in this market because of this change, if you've put a pause on your ambition, you are losing momentum because other agents have ramped up their ambition, have gone full force into this, creating videos and documentation and educating the public. And you know what's going to happen right now at this very moment is that agents are finding immense success if they're leaning forward into providing answers. They don't even have to have the answers. They just need to talk about things. But they're not shying away. They're not going to their basement and trying to figure out what they're going to do next. They are walking out in the streets. They're talking to new people. And when people ask them questions, they're having great conversations because they're not afraid to talk to the public. If you want to grow your business right now, buyers, agents, now's the time. You've never had a better opportunity to grow your business than right now. So get out there, talk to people. Because as buyers figure this out, your voice will become less important because they'll get all of the answers from other people because you're not talking about it. So if you want to have a voice, if you want to have influence, if you want to grow your business, get out there and talk about it.
That's it.
Be the person that provides the answers.
That's absolutely it. Aaron, and we don't share passages or scriptures on this channel very often.
Nope.
Maybe not at all. This may be a first, but
It might be a first. Let's do it.
I was reading this morning. It's so perfect, and I have to share this. This is Romans 5:3 through 5. And not only this, but we also exalt in our tribulations, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, and perseverance proven character, and proven character hope. And hope does not disappoint because the love of God has been poured out within our hearts through the Holy Spirit who was given to us. Amen. That was this morning. And you know, you and I hear each other I have been so enthralled in this conversation for, as we all have, but for months, and really leading up to the last 30 to 90 days. And that was such a reminder of, man, this is what it's for. This is the metal that we must push to strengthen the muscles, right, of who we are for our clients. If that doesn't touch you, then maybe we're the wrong fit for you here on this channel, because that's what we're talking about here. It's not easy. It's simple, super simple. The fix is super simple. Pivot, have this conversation, right? You can't have that conversation anymore. Have this, but it's not easy. We've been doing this for a long time like this, knowing that on the other side of this, right, is amazingness and as it should be, and protection for our clients. And maybe some bad agents just decide not to continue in on this business. Cool. It's supposed to be hard. The good stuff's on the other side of hard, right?
Yeah.
Everything we want is on the other side of what we're avoiding.
Yeah.
Let's go get it. Let's lean into this opportunity, and let's do the work that we all say we want to do anyways. Nobody's taking that away from us. It's right there.
And for 100 years, agents have been paid very well to do a job without having to explain the job they're doing.
That's right. Oh,
And
yes,
now we have to explain it.
yes,
So get good at explaining it.
yes.
And ultimately, there's two kinds of agents in this business, okay? And I've been thinking about this for a long time, Don. We didn't talk about this beforehand, but there's two kinds of agents in this business. There's those agents that get paid by the hour in their mind, and then there's agents that get paid for the results. And if you're an agent that is used to working an hourly job or a salary job, and you had to put in 40, 50 hours a week in order to justify a salary, and you've transitioned into real estate, you may bring that mentality into this business. And you may find your worth and your value in putting hours and hours and hours and hours into the job. And now you get into a situation like this where commission is debatable, it's negotiable. All of a sudden, you don't know what you're working for, and you can lose your sense of direction. Your compass is mixed up. The true north is mixed up. And so you're trying to figure this out. You need to transition to the other side of the coin, and the other type of agent is we get paid for results. And if you can justify and show your value based on results, then the hourly pay mentality goes away. And you will be able to still make a great living because you serve your clients and you know exactly what value you're delivering. I mean, I could go to my sellers tomorrow and I could say, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to list your home for 1%. And they'd be like, where's your value? What are you going to do for that? Well, I'm just going to lower the price. I'm not going to do anything. It's just going to be price based. So you're going to have to lower the price so I can sell it in a day. But if you want to pay me 3%, I'm going to list it and I'll be your best friend for 6 months because it's going to take longer. Now, if you have the hourly, longevity mentality, you're going to say, I've earned it because I held that listing for 6 months. I don't want that kind of agent if I'm an owner thinking about selling a house. I want to pay an agent who's going to get the job done. And if I can save 4 months of mortgage payments because we sell it right now for the best price to the best person, I'm going to pay that person more because they accomplished the job. Flip side to the buyer conversation, which we're having right now, if you can't justify how you're going to get the job done, how you're going to negotiate their offer, how you're going to build rapport. I mean, Don Jacks did a phenomenal job. 34 offers. I hope you wrote that down. 34 offers. Don got his offer accepted. That takes skill. That takes, a finesse. It takes experience. Can you justify yourself to your buyers so that you can get those buyers' contracts signed? Don has 3 of them signed already, right? I think.
2.
2. Okay. So he's got a number of them signed, right? He's going through this conversation all day long. So your buyers are going to figure it out with or without you. Our goal is to equip you with skill so that you can figure it out together.
That's right.
And let me talk about this last one here before we go today. Buyers backing out. There was an article that was written within the last couple of weeks that says that buyers are backing out in record number, like at record percentages. And I can definitely say that that's happening on my listings. I'm primarily a listing agent. We've closed a number of buyers recently, which has been different for my team. But we're working on 8 listings that are coming, and we've got 3 or 4 that are in escrow. And we had multiple buyers make false starts, making the offers, backing out, making the offers, backing out. Many of them didn't even put their money into escrow. Many of them didn't even get to the home inspection. They just backed out. I don't know definitively why that is happening nationwide, but I can say that this is a conversation that you need to have with your buyers. You need to make sure they're ready to commit to going forward with an escrow when they make an offer. I, not in being mean, Don, but I have sent text messages to those buyers agents that had buyers that wrote the offer that backed out. And I said, you work too hard to work with buyers like this, that you're going to make the time, go through the offer process to only have them back out 3 hours after they get the offer accepted. And I said, it doesn't do the industry or you any good if you're working with buyers like this. Perhaps you should find different buyers. And I'm not trying to be mean, but
Sure.
I am trying to say to buyers agents, if that's all you do is write offers and that's how you find your value, you're doing a disservice to your clients and the industry. What was it that our old manager used to say? Buyers do what buyers need to do in order to buy,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And that's the pre-approval process. That's now signing the buyer broker agreement. It's also understanding that when they make an offer and get accepted, that they're moving forward.
Yeah.
No false starts. It's devastating to sellers. It ruins your reputation as an agent if that's the kind of buyer you're working with. And so don't be the agent that works with those buyers. They're constantly backing out.
That's
Figure
right.
out why they're backing out. I have fired buyers because they backed out.
It's one of the greatest feelings ever, whether they're backing out or wasting your time in other ways or spinning your wheels. And it's so hard, right? We say that like being flippant, and we don't want to be flippant with your money, your income. That's not it, right? It's easier to say than do. However, please lean on this trust. And if you don't know that letting go of a bad apple, letting go of that energy sucking vampire, letting go of those that just aren't taking your advice, your great advice, the advice you'd give your grandma, right? It's time to go. And that's why we prospect. That's why we market. That's why we lead generate. That's why we follow up. That's why it's such an important part of what we do, because we get to decide our worth and decide who we get to work with. If you're talking to enough people and going on enough appointments, you get to decide. So please, please, please work with people who honor your opinion and want what you have to give. You have to communicate it. But if they don't value that, man, life's too short. This business is too vast for you to spend time working with people like that. Go do yourself a favor and move on and spend time looking for your tribe. Our vibe attracts our tribe, right? We know this. Keep vibing. You'll attract your tribe. I promise. And with that, Aaron, I know we're up against it. Everybody, thank you. We've been off for a few weeks. We miss doing this. We love you guys. We appreciate your attention. And more than anything, we love the stories of you taking what we're talking about, putting it into action, and seeing the results for you and your client. Keep doing that. Keep sharing that with us. We got you. Whatever you need, if you need help, reach out to us. We're here. All of the contact information is here. If you have great support around you, that's amazing. Lean into it. You are not alone. We are here to lift up the industry right now. We all are in this together. None of us have mastered this, regardless of how much confidence Aaron and I have about this. We haven't been down this one yet. We haven't seen this
We're
yet.
figuring it out.
We're figuring it out, and we know we will. The strong always survive as long as we're willing to educate and communicate through the process. Aaron, thank you. God bless everybody. Go take massive action, and we'll see you soon. Be great.